Hello, fourth grade. It's time for our magic line lesson. I'm here in a fancy art museum, but something really important is missing, the art. And we know that art tells stories. So the stories are also missing, and we need your help. So let's talk about the magic line and how to make some really cool, detailed pictures that can tell a story. Okay, let's look at these photos. What do you notice that's different from number 1 to number 4? I hope you said, I think that number 4 has a lot more details than number 1. I would be much more interested in looking at number 4 for a long time than number 1. And the difference is the details. Everybody say, the details. In number 4, I can tell that it is daytime outside because there is a sun, the sky is blue, the windows are bright and shiny. In number 1, I have no idea. That house is floating in the air. The tree is floating in the air. I don't know what's going on. So we want to shoot for number 4 pictures, which means we need to have a lot of detail. The more detail you can give, the more information is going to be in your story. And we want to make sure that our readers get lots of information. Look at all of these pictures, and I'm going to give you a minute or so to just soak up all the details in these pictures and tell me, what can you tell from these photos? Each one of these photos could tell a different story because each one of these photos gives us a different setting. The setting is the when and the where of a story. So if I'm looking at these illustrations, I can tell that they're all inside. They're all inside someone's house. And I can tell that because there's a floor and there's a wall and there's different furniture pieces. Which room looks like a kitchen to you? I hope you pointed at this one. There's a tile floor, there's a sink, there's a refrigerator. It's also a very clean kitchen. So I can start thinking of some different story titles or some different situations that might happen in this kitchen. Maybe this is a new house that nobody has moved into yet. Maybe this is a kitchen that just got cleaned after a massive disaster. If I'm looking over here at some of these living rooms, I might be able to infer or make some guesses about who might live in these houses. I don't know about you, but this does not look like my living room. My living room is a lot messier than that. All of these illustrations show a different glimpse into a home, and that gives us a different idea for a story when we're looking at all these different places. They all have lots of details, which gives us more information. It gives us more what? Exactly. Whoops, gives me a you're still cool. One of the ways that illustrators can provide their readers with information is by using these elements of art. So the first one is a line. I want you to take your hands like this and do this with me. Horizontal. When you move and you can put actions with words, it's going to put it back in your brain. So if you didn't do it that first time, hop in with me now. Do this with me and say horizontal, wavy, straight. This is also vertical, vertical, diagonal. Ooh, we're getting a good stretch. Go the other way. Diagonal. Good job. Really fast. Horizontal, wavy, straight, vertical, diagonal. Good job. You can see lots of different types of lines in all of these pictures. So this picture up here with the red couches, there are straight lines along the edge of the floor and the wall and on the window, but they've used wavy lines on the wallpaper. And that gives it a different feel than this kitchen, which has all straight lines for the most part. I love how they use straight lines on the floor for the tile in this picture at the bottom, and then they used wavy lines for the curtains. This picture with the red couch and this picture with also the red couch used a little bit of diagonal lines to show the corner of the room. So that's another option for when you're doing lines. Everybody say shapes. There are geometric shapes, which are the shapes you learn about in school, like circles, triangles, all the shapes that look normal. And then there are organic shapes. So make a crazy face and say organic. Good job. That means shapes that are going to show up in nature and they're going to look kind of weird. They're going to be funky shapes, like a tree. Not all trees are the same shape. Clouds, not all clouds are the same shape. So you can use shapes to add detail to your drawing also. Okay, now with me, I want you to say space. Make it sound like you're coming from far away. Ready? Space. Good job. When artists and illustrators use space, they're going to make objects that are supposed to be far away little bitty. So say this with me. Far away, little bitty. Far away, little bitty. Good job. Up close, really big. Up close, really big. So keep that in mind when you're making your illustrations. The last one is value. Can you do that with me? Value. So that's supposed to be light and dark. In all of these pictures, I can tell that the setting is in the daytime. So these stories would take place in the daytime. I can tell that because these windows give me a glimpse into the outdoors. These illustrators did not really give us a glimpse into the yard. I wish that they would have because that's even more information. So I'm going to show you some fourth graders from last year who did an even better job than these illustrators at that. Okay, so when we're going through to look at your artwork and decide if we're at a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1, depending on how much detail you have, up here is an example of a 4 artwork. There's lots of detail. There's different colors. Can you see how this tree is little bitty because it's far away? And this tree is very big because it's up close. Good job. They use a diagonal line to show this road that's kind of starting out big and then going off to a point. That's an excellent use of perspective. And then you can also tell as we go down here to this number 1, the color doesn't go all the way to the edges. So we're going to talk about how to color and not wear yourself out in just a minute. There's a lot more objects up here, which is going to help with coloring. And they didn't just color blue. They've got dark blue and light blue, which is differences in value. That light and dark, that's that value that we're looking for. So how do we even get started drawing pictures like that? Number 1, magic line. Say that with me. Number 1, magic line. You get to decide where the line is that divides your wall from the floor. We are going to be making indoor photos today. So your magic line is going to divide the wall from the floor. When we do outdoor paintings tomorrow and outdoor scenes, it will divide the sky from the ground. But our magic line today is going to divide the wall from the floor. So it needs to be a straight line. It needs to be a what? You can do a diagonal line, which I'll show you in just a minute. I can make my line go across the middle if I want to, or I can make it go closer to the bottom. You are going to draw yours on paper. You're drawing yours on what? You're going to get out your notebook from Miss Lofgren, the red one with the fancy art paper, use a pencil to start, and make a magic line. I'm doing mine on the computer so you can see it. I decided to put my line a little bit closer to the bottom of my paper, and if I was doing it with a pencil, I would use a ruler. I would use a what? To make sure it's nice and straight. If you don't have a ruler, you can always take another piece of paper, line it up, and then draw across the top. Now I can see where my wall begins and my floor begins, and I'm going to add tons of objects. So step 1, draw the magic line. What's step 1? Step 2, add a bunch of objects. I'm going to show you some pictures from last year's 4th grade class to give you some ideas of what objects you might want to put in. Here you can see a kitchen, and they actually decided to do a straight line here and then a diagonal line to show the corner of the room. They've got a sink, they've got a fancy tile floor, and they've got all of these different items lined up along the wall. Another use of some diagonal lines to force perspective is this one. I will say I wish this person would have put more objects, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. You want to add as many things as you can think of so that you don't have to color so much and wear your hands out. But I do love the way that they showed the corner of the room with some diagonal lines. This one has a really fancy tile floor. They use some space by making this object bigger than this object. So since this one's smaller, it must be far away. And I love how they put things outside of the window, so I can even make some inferences about what this person's yard looks like. Someone has left the sink on and they've got a sink running. There's also dishes in the sink. And then you can see lots of items over here. So that's lots of really great detail. Here's another use of some really great detail. They've got some chairs sitting at some tables. They've got a fancy floor. And then up here, you can see that this window is really small because it's farther away than this chair. They've got a sun outside the window, and they have all kinds of different pots and pans lining the wall. They've got a refrigerator and sinks and all kinds of things on the counter. So that was a lot of really great detail. If I looked at any of those pictures, I could come up with probably 3 different stories. So what I want you to do is to get your white paper, your notebook from Miss Lofgren, and I want you to create a picture. Draw your magic line first that separates the wall from the floor, and then you get to create a room. It does have to be an indoor room, and we're not going to put any people. Don't send me a picture with people in it. No people, just a scene from inside. So you can draw your bedroom, you can draw a kitchen, you can draw a living room. If you're having trouble coming up with ideas, pause this video and go back to the slide that had all the different rooms on it, or take a look at some of the ones I just showed you. You can also look around your house and draw what you see in your house. Make sure you add lots of detail and full color. All of those directions are going to be in the description of this assignment on Google Classroom, but we'll go over them right now so you're ready to go. Step 1, magic line. Step 2, lots of objects. Step 3, full color. And when you color, if you have markers, I would suggest using your marker to outline objects and using your colored pencil to shade it in. I would not use your marker to color the whole thing, or it's going to look really messy and you're not going to be able to see all the objects that you worked so hard at. Have fun with all of your illustrations. I can't wait to see them.